As you can see in the thumbnail and the title, boys, today I'm going to be ranking every UFC division in terms of how watchable that division is, okay? I'm talking how exciting are the actual fights? How many exciting prospects are there? Is the skill level there? Is the finishes there? Is the star value there? Is there names, big names in that division? Is there big fights in that division often? That's what we're looking at. I've got a tier list in front of me. I've got a poop emoji in front of me. And I'm set to go, okay? So starting off, we're going to go lightest to heaviest. Let's go women's strawweight division. I'm going to go with S tier. No, I'm going to go with C tier. Obviously, I'm going to go with C tier. The title fights are pretty good, which does help this division. Obviously, you've got Weili Zhang, Rosnama Yunus, Tatiana Suarez is coming into the division. I think she's going to be a champion soon. You've got a lot of great championship fights, obviously, especially when Joanna was in the division as well. That really boosted the excitement in this division. The skill level's probably the best in this division as well out of all the women's ones, so I'm going to put it here as like a benchmark for the women's divisions because the most skillful fighters are at strawweight, right? You know, there's no power, there's no finishes, unfortunately, which doesn't help them unless you've got Jessica Andrade fighting. You know, some of the contenders as well are pretty boring, which doesn't help. You've got like Carla Esparza, you've got like Yan Jianan, Amanda Lemos. Like, fuck, I know she gets finishes, but I just... Amanda Lemos is she just strikes me as like you're just not good, bro. Like you just have power. That's it. You're not good. And there's other fighters that I want to talk about like that and talk about that are like that in the future. I'm gonna do a whole video on a guy specifically that I need to address because I'm sick of the hype. I'm sick of the bullshit. Okay, if you can guess who it is in the comments, I'll pin your comment. Okay, but moving on. Sorry. I can't really consider this a division that I'm excited to see. You know, I don't see women's strawweight on the banner and go, oh man, I really want to see that women's strawweight fight. Like that's not gonna happen. You know, even a lightweight fight will come on. I'll go, oh, I really want to watch this fight. This seems like it'll be good. This division is not D or F tier because they got Mackenzie Dern in this motherfucker. So you know what I'm saying, bro. Hey, ha. But anyways, moving on. Women's flyweight division. I'm gonna put them at D tier, okay? The title fights, just like what the fuck are we doing? The rest of the division is like what the fuck are we doing? They've got some exciting people, you know. You've got Jessica Andrade there. You've got Blanchfield. Molly McCann's usually pretty exciting, win, lose or draw. Otherwise, I don't care about this division. We do not care. You know what I'm saying? We do not care about this division, bro. Valentina, she's good, but she's fighting absolute bums. Fake Legacy, all that stuff. And speaking of Fake Legacy, we're going to move on to the women's Bantamweight division. F tier. One of the worst fucking divisions in the UFC. Fake GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Amanda Nunes is fighting the same people for 5 years. Barely winning. Or just fighting absolute cans. And she's considered the greatest female fighter of all time. I don't understand. But I digress. All I have to say about this division is, dude, Juliana Pena is the #1 contender. And she fights like she's underwater and wearing a diaper. So it's just like, what the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? There is some saving graces in this division. You know, there's occasional knockouts, which you don't really get at flyweight or strawweight, honestly. But this division's been the same division for 5 years. Like Raquel Pennington, Ketlin Vieira, Holly Holm, still top 3. You know what I mean? Like that's been this division for 5 or 6 years now. So it's very hard to care. The technique is fucking terrible, which sometimes does make it entertaining because it's like watching street beefs. But at the same time, I don't care about this division at all, and I have no interest in watching women's bantamweight whatsoever. I don't care at all, so I'm going F tier with that. All right, moving on to the flyweight division. Okay, the men's flyweight division. This may be controversial. I'm gonna go C tier. What the fuck? I'm gonna go C tier, bro. Sorry, I just didn't want to work. I'm gonna go C tier, dude. Someone's moving a trash can. Let me just fix that for you. There you go. Yeah, someone's delivering garbage outside, which is really good. Speaking of garbage, flyweight division. The title fights are actually pretty good. Let me stop shitting on flyweight. The title fights are quite entertaining. Title eliminator bouts are usually very competitive as well. Another thing that helps flyweight is the fights are usually very competitive, which does make them quite entertaining. Like you don't really get washes in the flyweight division. Because everyone's pretty skillful, everyone's pretty quick, everyone's pretty technical, especially on the feet, which makes it pretty good. And that kind of helps to make up for the fact that this entire division is filled with no personality, no finishes really. No big names. Um, it's like there's usually pretty good fights, but generally there's no real names. There's no like must see TV fighters in the flyweight division, and I think that's gonna change in the future. But right now, this is like a C tier division to me. It's like, oh, it's all right. It's like bottom to top. Yeah, it's all right, pretty decent. Okay, moving on to the bantamweight division. I'm going A tier, bruh. I'm going A tier, bruh. I'm going A tier for bantamweight, dude. I'm going A tier. All right, bro. This bantamweight division is full of killers. Okay, there's heaps of ranked and unranked fighters that are just worth watching. That are exciting. That you see them get a fight announced and you go, "Oh my god, bro, I need to watch this." You know what I'm saying? They've all got that technical ability. They've got more power and danger than flyweight though, which really helps the division. And they've got some very exciting names as well up and down the division. You've got Corey Sandhagen, Cheeto Vera, Sean O'Malley, Aljo, Peter Yan. And then outside the rankings, you've got all these exciting guys. You've got like Javid Basharat, Raul Rosas Jr., like a heaps of people. I can't even name it, all of them. And the fact that all of these matchups that they've announced for the next couple of months as well are such big deals just shows how important, how exciting, how much we love this division. So bantamweight has to be A tier in my opinion. Yeah, just one of the best divisions ever. Okay, moving on to the featherweight division. One of the divisions ever. I'm gonna go with B tier for featherweight. Okay, it's one of the divisions ever. I think look. Here's what I'll say about featherweight. All right, featherweight's got a great champion. Okay, really, really good champ. Probably for sure, the best champion on the board right now. All the title fights are always pretty good. I wouldn't say they're as exciting as like some other divisions that we'll touch on in terms of the title fights. Like, oh wow, this is a really good fight, or this will be a really good fight. But featherweight's good. It's all right. It's good. You got some exciting prospects. You got some exciting contenders around. The only thing that I don't like about featherweight is some of the ranking placements. And the fact that sometimes they'll stall out at the top. So, like, Brian Ortega's ranked number 3, and he's just not going to fight for a year. Yair Rodriguez wins one fight, gets an interim title shot. Korean Zombie's top 5. No idea how. I love Korean Zombie, but, like, what the fuck are we doing? So that kind of doesn't help the division. There's not really a lot of depth either in terms of legit title contenders. Like, it's because Volk is so dominant, I understand that, but at the same time, it is kind of, you have to acknowledge the fact that, like, Josh Emmett just fought for a belt in this division. Like, do I have to say anything else about the title picture? I think it's going to improve over time, but right now, it's a solid B, okay? Moving on. We got the lightweight division. I'm going to go S tier, bro. I'm going to go S tier with this lightweight division, bro. Okay, this lightweight is probably considering it's the perfect mix of the talent of bantamweight, but the danger of these like upper weight classes, because now there's real finishes. Now there's real danger. There's really good finishes. Like I said, it's more exciting, but the skill level's still there. It's not like a heavyweight where you go, oh fuck, they're gonna knock each other out. And can I just say about lightweight, another thing that makes it exciting is the stakes at lightweight, because this division, I'm gonna say it, this rankings is the hardest to crack in the UFC. I feel like it's literally, you have to fucking know you have to know a guy to get in the fucking UFC lightweight rankings. I feel like you have to know the right people to get in these lightweight rankings. I mean, you have to go on a crazy, crazy streak. Versus bantamweight, there is kind of that entry level at the bottom of the top 15. But lightweight, 1 through 15, it's like they've had to fight for years to get to that spot. There's no one that just comes in and gets straight in, unless you're Michael Chandler, But even then, Michael Chandler's a great fighter, he's had some great fights. He's a great fighter, I like Michael Chandler a lot. He's a great fighter. But yeah, the rankings are really good. I know that some of it's because these top guys won't fight anyone else but each other. But these lower ranked guys, when they're fighting these unranked guys and it's close or they're losing, that just shows just how good top to bottom this division is. And the champion, the upper echelon, is the most exciting sector of the UFC. I mean, when a lightweight title fight is on the horizon, or you've got like McGregor, Oliveira, Chandler, Poirier, all these guys around, it's a big deal, right? It's a bigger deal than bantamweight. So I'm going to say that in consideration with some of the unranked names as well. Lightweight, right now, the money division in the UFC. The most exciting, one of the most talented. Murderer's row of rankings. Biggest, like, stars probably in the sport right now are in that division. the biggest money fights in terms of the title picture with McGregor and all that stuff is in that division. So I'm going to go S tier for lightweight, okay? Moving on to the welterweight division. I'm going to go B tier, bro. Bro, that's 9 rankings in a row now, bro. I'm B tier, bro. Okay, welterweight's B tier. All right, welterweight's B tier. You know, there's decent star power at the top. And, you know, decent exciting matchups at the top. You know, you've got Usman, you've got Covington, you've got Edwards, you know, Chimaev. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody else, but, you know, the top of those rankings are really good, really talented fighters at the top. And then coming into the rankings now, you've got really exciting guys like Jack Della Maddalena, Shavkat Rakhmonov, Jeff Neal. You also got the one thing I like about welterweight. It's kind of an older man's division. So you've got kind of these exciting older guys that have been around for ages that can still go. You know, you've got Luque, Jing Liang, you know, even outside the rankings, you've got these fun kind of guys that have been around for ages that can still get it going in a good fight. You know, Robbie Lawler, Matt Brown, RDA, stuff like that. So pretty exciting division, pretty good fights, good finishes. And what I like about welterweight is they're not the most technical. They're not as good as lightweight or bantamweight or even featherweight really in terms of skill. But what they do have is when they put these fun fights together, they always deliver. Like there's generally, if you want to make a fight of the night banger, you're looking at a couple of divisions, and I would say welterweight is one of those divisions that you look to where you go, let's put these two together and make a good fight. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Hopefully you agree, right? Obviously, there's some fighters outside the rankings that are a bit shit, and the skill level, like I said, it's not the same as lightweight or bantamweight. So B tier is where I'm going to put welterweight. Okay? Moving on, now we've got the middleweight division. I am going to go with, in terms of entertainment, I'm going to go with C tier. Alright, I'm going to put him over here, between Moreno and Weili Zhang, okay? That's where a couple of you guys want to be, I can tell. Alright, now moving on. Adesanya. Let me talk about Adesanya here. Adesanya, I think, is the reason that they're C tier. If Adesanya wasn't in this division, if we had Pereira, Whitaker, Chimaev, Costa at the top, or Romero still, this would be a B, borderline A tier division. But I think Adesanya has really brought down the excitement of this division. You know, the top, we can't ignore the fact that the top of this division for 2 or 3 years was just 49-46 leg kick decision. And Derek Brunson getting a fucking title shot. You know, like we have to acknowledge that Derek Brunson was like running this division for a while. So I'm going to put this at C tier. Okay, the finishes are very brutal, very exciting. I would say probably the best mix of technical and power in terms of brutal finishes is at middleweight. Like welterweight, they're a bit more skillful, but they don't finish as bad. Middleweight, they go out bad, bro, and there's a little bit more skill, you know. But overall, I would say this division, the skill level is pretty low. You know, the barrier of entry at middleweight is pretty low. The unranked section, Jesus Christ, I sound like fucking Raul Rosas Jr. The unranked section of this division, I would say, some of it is genuinely hard to watch. Like, some of them are so fucking bad, right? But some of the top guys are pretty good. You know, there's some fun fighting styles scattered around. You know, you've got Whitaker there, Pereira, you know, Dricus du Plessis, Paulo Costa. You know, those guys are exciting. Those guys bring up the quality of the division. But overall, I'm going to say C tier for middleweight, all right? We've got 2 more, all right? We've got the light heavyweight division. I am going to go with C tier for this light heavyweight division. Pretty good division, you know, improving, I would say. What I like about light heavyweight, there's a lot of knockouts. There's not a lot of skill, but there's still some talented guys. You know, you've got Magomed Ankalaev, you've got Yuri Prohaska, you've got Jamal Hill. You've got some decent guys there coming up right now. You've got some cool personalities as well. But the thing about light heavyweight, it is quite entertaining. It's fringe B tier. I would say it's the closest to B tier because of the finishing and because of the excitement. But I think there's not that much star power, which kind of doesn't help. And the thing about it is, light heavyweight, every fight at light heavyweight is a coin flip, right? Every other division, there's like this thing called like logic that you can kind of use. You can go, oh, well, this guy beat this guy, and this guy's a grappler, so he's going to win in the grappling. But at light heavyweight, oh, this guy's a black belt grappler, never been tapped out before. And then a striker will just submit him in 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we love about light heavyweight, is because everyone can beat everyone. And there usually finishes when that happens, which does help. But overall, my excitement level is not as at the level of like a welterweight or a featherweight, because there's not that much star power at light heavyweight. It's kind of a revolving door. You know, Yuri Prohaska is A tier in terms of excitement. But the rest of the division is very like, oh, Anthony Smith is like fighting a title elimination bout. Oh, okay. Oh, Paul Craig is, Jesus Christ, Paul Craig's main eventing. You know what I mean? Like, that's where we're kind of at light heavyweight. So I can't put them at B tier, but I think it will go up to a B tier when the division is more filled with more like Jamal Hills and Yuri Prohaskis and exciting guys like that have some decent skill to go with their power and their finishing ability. Okay, last one, we've got the heavyweight division, and I am going to go with D tier for the heavyweight division. Now let me explain myself. Let me be clear. Okay. Heavyweight. I get it. Okay, if you think heavyweight should be higher, I understand your logic. They're all knockouts, bro. Dude, they knock each other out all the time. Dude, here's what you get at heavyweight. You either get a knockout in 30 seconds, or you get two tired fucking fat guys sweating on each other and trying to wrestle or trade combos and just heavy breathing for 15 minutes, and they're gassed 20 seconds in, okay? There can be entertaining fights, entertaining knockouts, but is it really like the most watchable division where you go, dude, did you see that Parker Porter Josh Parisian fight? Like, no, you don't, right? There is fights like that at welterweight, at lightweight, at featherweight with unranked guys, but heavyweight, come on, bruh. Now, I will say this about heavyweight, there is decent star power. You know, you've got Jones coming back, you've got Cyril Gane, you had Francis Ngannou there, but the skill level, the lack of cardio, a lot of these fights are disappointing. Like, they're not as good as they would seem on paper, right? You know, there's good knockouts, obviously, but it's usually after either, like, a terrible start or, like, nothing happens, and then, oh, fuck, he's out. And then you get 10 minutes of just whopper, 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 whopper. So that's why I don't really like heavyweight. I don't really find heavyweight that exciting, you know. You do get fun fights. You know, you do. I will say that you do get some good fights, like you get Gane versus Tuivasa, but I would say those are the exception and not the rule at heavyweight. I feel like more often than not at heavyweight, you just get, like, just fat guys sweating on each other, like, gas 30 seconds in. You know, like, yeah, so. And the sad part is, I think heavyweight division in the days of, like, JDS, Cain Velasquez, you know, Brock Lesnar, Overeem, those guys, I think that would have been, like, a B or C tier division. Like, that was a very exciting division. Like, when Stipe was champ, even, I would say the division was more exciting. But right now, it's a D tier division. The unranked section and the bottom of the rankings is fucking atrocious. So that's my rankings of the UFC divisions in terms of excitement. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below, boys. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like. Alright, subscribe for more. And yeah, bro, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.